What's going on YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we're in the ACC now doing our power rankings heading into week 6 of the college football season. We did the Big Ten earlier, did the SEC yesterday, and we'll have the Pac-12 and Big 12 also coming up later today. So here is our first tier of teams. This is the new way we're doing it. Clemson, number 1. Miami, number 2. Clemson appears to be, we could probably put them in a class of their own. Up there at the number 1 spot, but we'll sneak Miami into this tier as well. Miami with a very impressive win over Duke. I think everything's going for them right now. They're looking good on both sides of the ball. Really impressed with Rozier at quarterback, and just that whole offense. Mark Walton as well. They've been impressive so far. Haven't had a real tough test, so again, you could probably put them down. Really not in the same tier as Clemson, but just for this video, we're going to put them together here at 1 and 2. The next tier, the two teams that lost to Clemson, Virginia Tech and Louisville. That's the only team they've lost to. Both teams played pretty similarly against Clemson. I think Virginia Tech played them a little bit tougher than Louisville did. So we're going to give Virginia Tech the nod there at number 3, Louisville at number 4. Both these teams I still think are pretty solid teams. I think they'll stay in the top 25 all season long. Louisville, though, has a big test coming up at NC State. Their schedule is tougher than Virginia Tech's for sure. So, yeah, we'll see. I think Virginia Tech may be holding on to that number 3 spot for a while. Here we go now, 5 through 7. NC State, Georgia Tech, and Florida State. NC State and Georgia Tech both have lost to SEC teams that have not been doing too good this year. NC State losing to South Carolina, Georgia Tech losing to Tennessee. But other than that, both these teams have looked really good in pretty much every game. So I've got them at 5 and 6, a little bit ahead of Florida State, who barely defeated Wake Forest, and then they lost to NC State. So obviously we're going to put NC State ahead of them, and then the loss to Alabama as well. You just really, have to wonder, where would this team be if DeAndre Francois had not gotten hurt? We'll never know. Unfortunately for Florida State fans, this is going to be a season probably that they're going to want to forget by the time it's all said and done, with Miami coming up and then Clemson also. And they've still got Louisville and Florida as well, so yeah, tough schedule there for the Seminoles. All right, our next tier of teams is Wake Forest and Duke. Both of these teams lost their first game this past weekend to pretty good teams. Wake Forest losing to Florida State, Duke losing to Miami. And so I think both of these teams are pretty much even right now. Both have been a little bit of a surprise. They both played a little bit better than I thought they would, especially Duke. I didn't really expect Duke to play this well this early. So they come in at number 8 and 9. Still teams that have a chance to maybe pull off an upset somewhere down the road, because they're both playing pretty good football. Okay, so our next tier, and this is actually the rest of the teams. I've got all 5 of these teams kind of grouped together. You could mix and match, put these teams in any order that you really wanted to. But still going back to that Boise State win for Virginia, they come in at number 10. North Carolina continues to lose. They lose to Georgia Tech this week. Boston College. They beat a group of 5 team. Syracuse at 13 and Pittsburgh at 14 still. So yeah, these teams all really, to me, are even. It's hard to even put them in any kind of order. You could really say they're all tied at 10th right now. They're all pretty bad, honestly. So we'll see if this group, if a couple of teams kind of separate themselves from the pack out of these bottom teams. But it's looking like really none of these teams probably will make a bowl game. So that's unfortunate, especially seeing teams like North Carolina and Pitt, not even getting to a bowl game. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. Go ahead and leave a comment down below with your thoughts on any of these teams. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel.